for listening to another episode of the Key to Success podcast. Gotta say, I definitely appreciate the reviews I've been getting. See you guys like it, so let's keep going, man. Let's jump right into it. Today's topic is failure. One thing I want to say about failure is good. Failure is necessary. Failure has gotten many people to where they are today. Honestly, failure is, in a sense, better than success. Of course, I have a bunch of reasons, so let me explain it to you. First off, failure it can be categorized. Failure can be categorized as mistakes. The important thing is you learn from your mistake. In turn, you learn what went wrong so you can improve and change. And by failing or facing mistakes and coming across issues, it helps you grow as a person. So one simple example of this is when you're practicing, say you're a basketball player, you're on the court. When you're going through a drill, when you go through, you messed up, but it's a good thing that you messed up. So now you know how not to do it. So you just go through and do it again. When you try to go to school, you're in college, if you fail that first semester, you know what not to do so that you don't fail in your second semester. One area of my life where I thought I failed last year when I was at a university out in Oregon, I felt like I was on the right path, doing everything right, but when I got there, when I arrived at the school, they explained to me that I didn't have the right credits and the correct classes to play, and it was like one class, something stupid like that. So they basically said, okay, well, you can't play basketball this year, you have to wait until next year. And for a while, for a few days, I honestly looked at it as, man, I failed. Like, this is one of the biggest reasons I came here. This is my main reason for being in Oregon, so that I can play. But I'm like satisfied with that failure. I'm happy it happened, because not playing that year was one of the best things that ever happened to me. When I was not able to play, it forced me to do other things with my time. So I started writing more, I started reading more, and I just realized how much more of a creative person I am. You know, I'm writing a book now. I read for several different websites. Like, I have so many more abilities than just basketball like I was thinking. So I would have never found out a lot more about myself. I would have never really found who I am if I didn't fail. So I'm thankful for that. Every day I'm thankful, because I wouldn't be as smart as I am. I wouldn't have experienced the different things I have since I've stopped just putting myself in that one area. You know, I always, for the longest, I felt like, oh, this is all you can do. So you have to be the best you can be at this one thing. But as soon as that one thing was taken away, I realized I'm much more. I'm so much more. I can do a lot more. I'm so much more useful. I'm so much more creative. And failure gave me that opportunity. So I really, really learned from that so-called mistake of not being in the right class. So I just appreciate what happened, man. Failure is necessary. Failure teaches us lessons. One important thing I heard Warren Buffett say, and it was just one of the most amazing things I heard. Really simple when you think about it. It really puts a different perspective on things. He said, we only learn from mistakes, but they don't have to be our own. That's very, very important in life, because we always have people around us, and especially with the internet and social media, there are millions of people, and honestly, there's a lot of people who are trying to do the things we're trying to do. You know, a lot of people in the same realm of business and the same professions and things like that. So if you pay attention to what it is that they did, you shouldn't repeat their same mistakes. If you learn from their mistakes, just pay attention to those around you. I'm not saying you dissect their life and try to measure their life with your rule. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you pay attention to what they did wrong. If you see you're in college and one of your friends gets kicked out of school, you should pay attention to what they did to get kicked out of school, so that you in turn don't do what they did and end up getting kicked out of school. Common sense. But when you put it in every aspect, it can really, really change the way you look at life. But you pay attention to other people's mistakes so that you can learn from them. If they mess up, you should mess up the same way right behind them. That's not smart. Another good thing about failure is it forces you to grow. So when you fail, what happens? So if you go and try out for the team, if you apply to a college or wherever you're doing, when you try to do something, when you're trying to get somewhere, if you don't make it, if it doesn't work out, if things don't go your way, you're automatically forced to sort of face reality. And part of that reality is realizing, okay, I did something wrong. That's the main thing. Is, okay, I did something wrong. And then you look, okay, what did I do wrong? This even applies in relationships. You know, you were in a relationship for 3-4 years and things didn't work out. Okay, why didn't they work out? Sometimes we have to look at our mistakes and our failures and realize, okay, I made a mistake here, here, and here. I need to fix that. And a good thing I like about failure is this the opposite of comfort, because comfort brings laziness. You know, when you're comfortable, it's easy to just kind of relax and chill, and you kind of lose the fire in you. Like, you ever noticed how when artists, rappers, singers, whatever, they have a certain type of hunger about them before they get discovered. Their music is amazing to you before they get that record deal, but as soon as they get signed, their quality of music just declines. That's mainly because they lost that hunger. They feel comfortable now. They got a record deal, they're getting paid a lot more, so they don't have the hunger that they would have if they were just tweeting their SoundCloud link and just trying to get people to notice them. Now that they have a little more fame and notoriety, they lose that fight that you really love them for, and a lot of times it affects their music as well. So you can't get comfortable. You know, we heard the saying, don't rest on your laurels, and well, I think a lot of people do that, and that's a bad habit. That's why it's important to, like I said before, always set goals, set small goals, but mainly learn how to deal with failures, because they will happen. It's a part of life. Everyone fails. Everyone has failed in some form or fashion. We all know about Steve Jobs. He lost millions of dollars creating the Lisa and with the company Next. I'm pretty sure you have no idea what that is, but Steve Jobs is the same guy who is the creator. Steve Jobs is the same guy who created that iPhone you have or the MacBook that you see. You know, he's that guy. And he started out, he dropped out of school, he was in college just going to random classes, just learning. So failure isn't the way we see it most of the time. Another guy is Nick Woodman. I know you don't know who that is, but he's the guy who created the GoPro camera. And he lost $4 or $5 million in the business before, got back up, kept going. Now he's a billionaire. So failure really just affects you. You have to look at life differently when failure happens. Another guy, James Dyson. Yes, Dyson, the guy who makes the vacuums. He created over 5,000, to be exact, 5,127 prototypes before finding his creation. Now he's worth $3 billion. So that just shows you that if you had a determination, you can do whatever you want to do, but you can't look at failures and constantly put yourself down. And that's my next point. You have to fail well. And fail well is an interesting concept. It's sort of like a shooter, a basketball player shooter, like Steph Curry. Steph Curry is such a great shooter because he is unconscious. He doesn't remember missing a shot before. He just knows, I have to make the next shot, and he goes and takes the shot. That's it. The main thing about failing and in life in general is you need to be unconscious when something goes wrong. Okay, whatever, and just keep going. You can't spend too much time feeling sorry for yourself, and it's okay to get frustrated, it's understandable. But people who fail well, the billionaires, the millionaires out there, the people with the Fortune 500 companies, they know how to fail to where they learn from their mistakes. They learn from people around them who made mistakes, and they aren't too hard on themselves. You have to be unconscious when it comes to failure. If you're in real estate and 50 people say no, you have to find that one person that's going to say yes, and you just keep going until you get there. That's not failure. Failure almost in a sense doesn't exist. It's sort of a worldly thing to let you know you didn't make it the first time. But I use failure as a measuring tool. I don't look at failure and say, if it didn't work out, I'm a failure, my life is terrible, and really down myself. I look at failure as if, okay, it didn't work out that time, I did something wrong, now let's go fix it, and I'm gonna go back to it. That's how you have to look at failure to get to the next level. Failure is something that we all must deal with. Failure is something that we all must deal with. It's something that we as a society can never escape because it's always going to happen. But it's really about how you respond after the failure happened. Because I just named a bunch of millionaires and billionaires and some people you haven't even heard of that just have all the money and comfort in life. But at one point in time, they were struggling. Some people are struggling to pay bills, struggling to get to class every day, struggling with health, a lot of different things. And it's all a part of life. But if you learn how to fail, your life will be 10 times easier, I guarantee it. So that's the episode for today. Your host, Chris. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Just Greatness. Got to give a quick shout out to KC Mom. Thank you for the review on iTunes. Everybody, please go to iTunes, leave a review, subscribe, listen to the show. Thank you so much for the support. Go to our Facebook page, the Greatness Podcast Network. I also have an Audible trial for my listeners. If you like a free audiobook, go to audibletrial.com.